morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, good morning, good morning. So, who remembers when I had my office and I had this frog behind me? What was cool about that was I got the idea of the frog from the location I'm in now, which is an office center inside of the apartment complex that I live. And I was like, is that office open? The one with the frog? Yeah, I want it. Cool. So there it is. I gotta tell you, it's really not, hey, good morning, Andy. Not very flattering. But then again, I just might not be good looking anymore. I thought I was, but apparently not. But that's okay. I will work on that. But yeah, you can see the bags. It's funny. So I have this, the iWatch, right? And it monitors my sleeping. And of all my medicals, everything is like really, really good. Like, in fact, really like way too good. I say that because one would think, well, Aunt, you must be stressed. And I actually got my blood work thinking that I must be stressed. Like, how can I not be? And my cortisol levels, which is measure stress, was 6.6. Now, to give a little context, average cortisol levels are 6 to 18. Meaning I'm quite literally in the percentile of the most least stressed individual. And then I got my blood pressure, it was 114/70. My doctor's like, Anthony, you're the least stressed person, like, and I go, Doc, I don't really know how that's even possible. And he goes, neither do I. And he starts listing all the things that one would find stressful. And I'm like, can you please not celebrate this? It's kind of offensive with you listing all the things that I should be upset about. But that's life. So for better or worse, you guys are stuck with me. All right. So I was hopeful to have, yeah, I did, Brian. Thank you so much. And good morning and Merry Christmas. I was hopeful to have something to share, but I don't. And that's kind of obnoxious. But the cool thing is, I don't have anything to share. Well, Aunt, you just said that. No, it's like you could have something good to share, or you could have something bad to share, or you could have nothing to share. There's nothing bad to share. I spoke with our patent attorneys, and they had checked in with the patent office, and it's still just like in queue. I checked with the patent consulting team, and they're ready to go. They have the conversations ongoing with the companies, the biggest ones being, I don't know if I've ever said that publicly. In fact, I probably shouldn't have. So kind of just keep that to us. But those are the number 1 and 2 most far along conversations. And that's pretty cool because those companies are quite big. Those companies I don't think are going to be like, I'm pretty sure that they actually pay their lawyers so much money that if they acquired something for like $100,000, they would look at their attorney and say, we paid you more to identify and to have these conversations than the thing is actually worth. Which means I don't think these companies engage unless the amount is significant. But again, that's completely ancillary, right? Like, what does that actually mean? This is me making stuff up on the fly. But that makes sense to me. But also the other end of it, right? So we filed the patent, blah, blah, blah. It got denied because there wasn't enough information. Therefore, we took the call with the patent inspector, the actual one that makes this decision. We had the half-hour call. Everything cool with you? Cool with you. We worked, collaborated, me, Ted, patent attorneys, me, Ted, patent attorneys. And again, during that back and forth, my time with Ted was, Ted, I need you to be the nastiest, most nitpicky patent inspector ever in the history of the world. Because our patent attorneys are sending it to me. I want us to tear this apart and send it back to them. In which case the presumption is we really, really did a very good job of having the most perfect resubmission. And the reason I mention all that is because this resubmission was back as of September 26th. It's now December 29th. So that's 3 months, right? October, November, yeah, 3 months. And a couple of things could be true, right? So let's play this game. Could they be so backed up they didn't get to it? Sure. Right? Like let's throw that out. Like that's totally possible. But I could poke a couple of holes in that, right? Like their patent attorney, their patent office. The patent office is self-funded. It's not like they don't have the people. And it's not like when the Trump administration is cutting down government employees, they're not cutting down the employees that are self-funded. They fund themselves, the patent office. So that's not a concern. Okay. Well, they have so many submissions because of AI. Sure, and that's true. But we're a resubmission. Like we've already worked with them. We're resubmitting. So we have priority. We already have a patent inspector. We've already spoken to him on the phone. So it's like we're clearly in his queue. So it's not like that we're in the queue of the whole patent. Oh, we're in the queue of one individual. Okay. So even though I mentioned that, maybe they're just so busy, blah, 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 I don't think that is highly probable. But maybe, who knows, right? Okay. But the other two are kind of the ones that catch my attention the most. And if it was bad, if it was an obvious failure, if you didn't correct the very, very specific things that they told you to correct, they would have clearly kicked it back by now because look at A, they're very busy. If you're very busy, you clear your queue quite quickly. So when you take a look at this thing and you're like, oh, this guy's an idiot. It's like I told him to change this, he didn't change it, send it back, get out of here. So the fact that we didn't get it back right away, at least in my opinion, argues to the effect of it at least needs further consideration, or that it's just simply not an obvious get rid of it. And then if you take that and extrapolate it, if it's not an obvious get rid of it, even if it gets declined, which we can then resubmit and we will, the terms of that decline will be so minuscule, will be so like, it's this little itty bitty thing, in which case you're kind of not guaranteed, but you're kind of promised, or at least high probability, a very good outcome for at least the third try, okay? And then there's the third option, which I think is actually most probable. Ant, you somehow just patented the entire future of AI. Like these people are sitting with it and they're like, his patent covers everything. There's nothing this doesn't cover. Like the only way for this thing to even grow, it's here. Like he patented an entire marketplace before it even happened. In which case, the patent office does work for the government. Like I could imagine a world where the government's like, we want to see like that. We're kind of interested in that. Now, I think that's kind of far out, right? Like I don't think it's that much, but I do think, and sorry, I was picking my finger. I do think in that world, there is a necessity for any patent inspector when identifying like this thing kind of covers a lot of stuff, that they need to be so hyper detailed, right? Like for instance, if we said, oh, we're patenting a circular object that allows larger uncircular objects to move better, they'd be like, buddy, did you just try to patent the wheel? Like we know what you just tried to do. So they're going to say, hey, listen, do you know the wheel's already patent and this is their patent, so you need to really, really detail how you're different than them. So I think it's something along those lines. But even that said, we did a resubmission. Like we already highly detailed it down. So I don't know. I only have good feelings about this. And let me say something. Ant, it's your show. Say whatever you want, right? In the last 2 months, I've been focused on mental health, but not so much mental health, but aptitude. Because it's been a conscious decision, or at least goal of mine, to increase neuroplasticity and pathways and just kind of optimize your brain. And I don't want to get too much into it, but I think the future we're walking into, your brain is really important. It's like, well, duh, but I don't think any of your other things are as important. I think your reproductive organs are very important, and I think your brain's very important. But could you have a mechanical arm one day that's as good as your regular arm? Probably. In fact, people might actually choose to have mechanical arms. I want that arm that's super strong versus this one that's not, right? So extrapolate that out and you kind of see where I'm getting at this. But your brain capacity is like your brain. It's like the CEO of your body. It's just important. So my IQ is 128. My qualitative and quantitative intelligence levels are 98 percentile, which means I'm top 2% in the entire world. And qualitative and quantitative is the ability to identify something in pattern recognition that's far out. So like, if I do this, what are the things that are going to happen here and how do I plan accordingly? So imagine chess, right? So take that and imagine the world as a chessboard and I'm being graded on my ability to operate within 98. And then my metacognition, I took one of those tests, is a 57.62. I mean 97.62. 57, that's really bad. Metacognition is the ability to think about thinking while thinking. So it actually kind of sounds like psychopath, but it's not. While talking, can you have 10 voices in your head that are also having conversation as if they're an audience to what you're talking about? Never lose your train of thought, but be able to consciously pull from them as if you have 10 people giving you advice in real time saying, hey, you're going to say this, but did you see their face? They said this, or this is, and pull it and create the most perfect form of communication and verbalize exactly the most optimal thing. That's metacognition, 97.62. And then I took my psych test, like I'm a 10 of 10 well-adjusted, 10 of 10 high functioning. The point of me saying this isn't like a, hey, look at me, I'm so smart, which is beneficial to know because, I mean, we have this relationship and you want to know that I'm competent, right? But the point of me saying this is when I'm giving you my opinion of where we are in the process, it's not of just a biased like individual that is speaking manifestations into reality, like, oh, I really hope this is the case, so let me verbalize this. No, like I'm consciously thinking, okay, for this to be this, then this have to be true, and if those things are to be true, and this is already true, when these things just oppose, then it's going. The point being, when I say, like, I'm not concerned. Like it doesn't, I don't look like a concerned person. I'm quite comfortable in the position we're in. If I can change things, they would be for them to move quicker. But even that isn't exactly true. For instance, if God came down a year ago and said, hey, Ant, I could get your patent approved right now. Would you like it? I think we all collectively would have said yes. What was the market size of AI a year ago? I don't know. Was it larger or smaller than it is now? Smaller. I know that much. Therefore, is the patent, all things being equal, worth more today or worth more a year ago? Well, today. So even in a scenario where God would have came down and said, hey, Ant, I'll do this for you, and I would have said yes, would it have been the wrong decision? Well, I don't know, right? If we got like $1 bazillion and everyone was like happy and financially sound, would you be upset that you didn't have more by waiting a year? Maybe, I have no idea, right? But if we graded it just by the amount of money we would have received, I think it would have been the wrong decision. Take that forward. If God came down right now and said, hey, Ant, I'll get it for you right now. Do you want it? I would say yes. Now, a year from now, would that be the right decision? I don't know, but I know I would say yes. So to the point of, if I could change anything, I would have it move faster. Yes and no. Like I don't know that I would. Everything's been going so perfectly. Everything's been going exactly the way it should. So it's, it's not, I don't know. Like, I think, like my favorite athlete of all time was Kobe Bryant. And I remember during his last game, he gave like a little speech, his farewell. And he goes, I hope what I can teach my daughters is that it's not about the destination, it's the journey. It's the journey that's important, not the destination. And that kind of resonated with me. Like when you arrive somewhere, it's like, okay, I'm here. And if you spent the entire journey being like trials and tribulations where you hate it, you kind of lose all the nooks and crannies, because getting somewhere and achieving a goal isn't the goal of life. It's like once you achieve it, it's achieved, it's in the past, go do it again. But the ability to continually do it, I think, is it. So this process, I can tell you this. I'm so available that if there is something that needs my attention, it gets it immediately. Like, that's how far along we are. Now, of course, I'm doing other things. I have the most fun court battles, and they're actually quite good. And I say that because my counterparts are really, really in a bad position. And I don't mean counterparts in terms of my co-parent, right? It's so far beyond that person. It's a structural system, and I'm fighting a machine that has found both myself and my co-parent to be cogs that they decided they want to play with and pick winners and losers. And unfortunately, someone should have told them, before you mess with that guy, Anthony, here's some things you should know about him. Because I really feel like if they knew what they knew now, they would say, oh my God, like we would have never really messed with that person, because this is going quite bad for us. So I'm enjoying the journey. So a lot of my work is there. And like I've always voiced, everything that comes in is Rhino, right? Like my time, I've always made that commitment, is Rhino. So if I am doing court over here and get awarded a large settlement, that's not Anthony. Anthony is Rhino. I have 3 kids, Christian, Amaris, and Rhino, right? Everything I do is Rhino. So, well, Ant, that settlement is for you. It's your battle with your family, blah, blah, blah. It's a battle with the court. How is that Rhino? Well, the time I spent over there, I could have been spending over here, and who's to say that I'm allowed to go ahead and pick and choose which time? Like, it's all in the same pot. So I do hope a lot of those things start coming in. In fact, in my email right now, I have an email from civil court, and there's 2 things I'm waiting on civil court. One of them is actually a lawsuit amount, like an award letter. And the other one is a motion being denied or granted. So I have an email right now that is either, hey, you are like a bazillionaire, or your latest motion was denied or granted. Both of them are coming. It could be today, tomorrow, I have no idea. So that's kind of interesting. And after this call, I'm going to go check it. And if it's like you're a bazillionaire, then, I'll start sending out emails and tell everyone, hey guys, listen, I have some money to give you, which will be cool. Sorry, my finger, I just keep picking it. So that's just where we are. And I really, really hope that in 2 weeks, when we do our next call, we'll have something. But I can tell you that the process is going to be quite quick. The second we have our thing approved and granted, the consulting team already knows what to do. In fact, my biggest concern with the consulting team, and I say this because I know they're not on this call, is that what we have is so valuable that it would be in their best business interest to make friends with Apple or Oracle or Meta or something and say, hey, listen, this thing, we could probably stick it to you for $1 billion. We'll stick it to you for 800 million, but just know that down the road when we have future applications that you work with us, right? That you pay this back, in which case now they have an even more thriving business. That makes sense to me. That's actually my biggest concern right now. But as you know me quite well, I think you know that I'm going to have that conversation with them, and they're going to know very quickly, guys, I'm month to month with you. I could go call them myself. Like, I don't need you. And they get paid 18% on the back end. So for them to sell at a lower amount, it hits their pockets, presuming that they're not taking money under the table, right? It would hit their pockets, but presumably it would make their business far greater in the future because they would have promises of future business, whatever. So the cool thing is to tell you that's my biggest concern right now, is that we have something so large that it might get sold a little bit below market so that other people can eat in the future. And that's not the worst place to be. So I can tell you 2026 is going to be really cool. I can tell you that I've actually been working on this one thing passively because I have kids, right? My son is 4, my daughter's 3, that it's been on my mind, like what jobs in the future are even going to be worthwhile. So every time I come across something that I'm like, oh, that's a good one, I've been writing it on my notepad. So I have a list of, I think, like 10 or 15 different careers that I think are the most valuable for the future. And I think for Christmas, maybe I'll just send them out. Maybe have Ted do a little bit of write up or actionable next steps for them. Um, I wasn't planning it, but like, why not, right? But it is something that I personally have been spending time putting together the list because it does hit home. I have little kids. So I'll get that out. But I think that's everything. I totally love y'all. I wanted to make sure to show face. And fingers crossed that within 2 weeks from now, we have a very, very good outcome. But in terms of what are our possible outcomes, I think they're all good and I think they're all large. If either of those were to, if I had seen if I see a risk in either of those two denotions being at risk, like good and large, I will immediately focus on those particular variables to correct that. Please take care. Don't go out and get hit by a bus. I know. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. It's funny because I wear my green shoes. Actually, you guys don't know that because you don't see my feet. But of course, right, like Rhino green. And whenever I go anywhere, they're like, oh my God, those shoes are so green. And I always say the same thing. I say, it's so that if I get hit by a car or bus, I know it was on purpose. And everyone always laughs. And I say, I'm only actually half kidding. Because there are probably a number of people that would like to hit me with a bus. So, Bill, I will look right, left, and right, left again. All right. Let me get going. I will get this out in an email today. I will post this probably within 10 minutes because I don't think I need to edit anything. There were a couple of ums, right? But all in all, I think we had a pretty fluent conversation. And it's only 22 minutes, right? So love y'all. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. And I hope the next time I see you, I have really, really, really good news. And the frog says goodbye too. Love y'all. Bye.